everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Whole Lotta Bogeys interview series. We have a first installment for you in the sense of we've never highlighted something like this before. This is going to be a cooler that you need to have on the course. This is going to be Kanga Coolers. We have Breck here with us today, who's going to be talking to us all about the brand. You probably have seen them on social media as they're constantly making funny, creative, and just engaging videos for you to kind of tune in and make sure that you're getting the full idea of the brand. So, Breck, I don't know if you want to jump right into it and just talk a little bit about Kanga.
Yeah, so like you said, my name is Breck here, and Kanga is it's essentially like what we say is a koozie for a case of beer, soda, or seltzer, right? So you take the already cold case, you slide it in the 12-pack or a pouch or a backpack or whatever have you, and it has the ability to keep it cold for up to 7 hours without ice. And so perfect for the golf course. You know, that's a niche that I've began to work with a lot. And also started at Clemson. You know, I guess that is the first step there. In 2017, it was a class project, and then I was one of the first interns that they brought on. And so I've just kind of worked my way up into the company there, and it's slowly grown from the iceless cooler. Now we have coolers that you can put ice in, expand a little bit into drinkware and stuff like that. Really good product growth and development there to keep it really healthy, you know.
Yeah, 100%. And then you guys have tons of different designs, and some of the, like, my favorites are going to be the colleges that you guys offer. And it's cool to know that you guys, like, you're listening to feedback you get from customers. And if you guys get 5, 10, 15 like requests for a specific school, you guys are going to produce it and you guys are going to bring it to market for people. So that also super dope.
Yeah, these are huge, like, especially just touching on the colleges, like a college game day. This is perfect for a tailgate or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like you guys said, like, I saw one of your videos, all these coolers keep your stuff cold for a week. It's like nobody needs that. You know what I mean?
Who's taking a week to drink their beer?
We need it for the tailgate outside the game or on the golf course or something like that. So yeah, that's a great niche to hit on, definitely.
100%. The Casemate too, just to give the viewers an idea, we'll put a picture up on the screen for everybody, but it's essentially like you described, like a neoprene type sleeve that goes right over the top of the case of beer and just gives you a nice handle on top for you to hold. There's a access point on top for you to reach the cans and get to. It's essentially going to be the replacement for your big, clunky, useless cooler that you're lugging around and filling up with ice. Then you're super heavy, draining it. And like you said, you guys have expanded into the backpack coolers and the coolers that can put ice in, that you can just put loose cans in as well. So there is some utilization on both ends, which is super cool.
Definitely.
But so you obviously had mentioned that you are starting to work in that area of golf with that niche, and like courses reaching out to you and putting their logos on the coolers for them as well. And I think that's something that is super cool. If anyone were to see that at the course, it's almost a guaranteed buy, as if you want to rep the course when you go anywhere else. Like, let's say, just for example, you might, like, these course names are just random, but like we're at Glen Oak over by us and we buy the Kanga Cooler with Glen Oak. I'm going to want to pull that thing out at Harvest Hill whenever we go over there and be like, oh yeah, this is where we're usually playing at. And this is our home course. You know what I mean? It's like repping the brand. So
right. For sure. I feel like the customization aspect, I feel like everything in golf, people want it customized. People, it's a very gear oriented game and people want to have a customized thing. And I feel like the cooler is just another aspect. Yeah.
100%.
Love it for sure.
Cool. The Casemate as well comes in 12-pack, 24-pack, and 30-pack. Was the 12-pack the original design, or?
So the 24-pack was actually the first, born at a tailgate in Clemson, as mentioned earlier. And so he kind of just saw the person, whoever it was at the time, carrying around the naked case. And so saw him slide into the koozie, and then, you know, that's where it came from. So the 24-pack, the big suitcase, is what started it off. And then they actually moved down towards the 12-pack as we got older, and we're just like, I don't know if we could put down the 24-packs anymore. So the 12-pack came along, and then obviously there's some state demand, depending on which state you're in, for the 30-pack. And so we had enough people reach out saying, hey, I'm, you know, drinking the Dirty 30. So
yeah,
representation there. And then so that was the 30-pack. And so, yeah, it was the 24-pack that started it off, which was really cool. You know, that was my first one. And then it's funny, though, to see you work your way down to the 12-pack or even like the pouch for a 6-pack. It's just as you're getting older.
No, it's funny. It's I feel like that's like the cool business plan, you know, to start at the top and work your way down. And like
100%.
It's kind of reminiscent of like, you know how Tesla started out with like race cars, and then they worked their way down to sports cars, and then they worked their way down to the sedan. It's like you guys went right from the top, work your way down to easier nights and easier days, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, one thing I wanted to hit on too is the designs that you guys put on these coolers. I would love to hear maybe like the process of how you guys come up with that. Because like the one I was looking at, I think it's at the top on your website, but the USA one, for example, like the back looks like the USA hockey jersey just for example. I'd love to hear the design process and how you guys come up with all those.
Yeah, so it's pretty internal as far as just like if somebody has a good idea for a design. They'll send some of those, say, hey, what do you think of this? And then, we'll move on to vote for it. We also listen to our customers a lot. We've kind of moved away from the white because our coolers are machine washable, but
Oh, wow.
not something that I guess we advertise regularly. So we do say it's like, look, just machine wash on cold, and then that'll help get rid of the majority of the stains. But still, the white has kind of driven some people are just like, I don't want to get it dirty, which is understandable. So the darker colors are starting to come out more, and then we will do just kind of 3 or 4 different iterations of different I guess designs, and then go from there. Like the USA, the captain, that was from the Miracle on Ice jersey. One of my favorite, that definitely represents the good old boy crowd, as we'll say. And yeah, and then it just kind of goes through different ones, and then we may get our ambassador group in on it and say, hey, out of these different designs, what do you like the best? And then the team will vote on it, and then we will throw it out into the market. We'll do a limited run, and then have the market ultimately determine if we keep it or not, or move on to something different and hopefully better.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the same process that you guys go about when you were like coming up with the designs for like the backpack style cooler and the vertical cooler as well? Or was that like just designs that you guys kind of already had in mind and just were waiting to bring to fruition?
Yeah. So the product timeline, or I guess design line, you could call it, is if it is successful in the 12 pack, then we'll make a pouch out of it. Cause if he could do good at the 12 pack, then the pouch should be better. And then so forth and so on to the backpack. So, and then as well as the other casemate design. So it really starts at that 12 pack now, because that's our bread and butter. That's our number one seller. If you're not sure, uncertain about the product and you want to buy it, test it out, always go 12 pack. And then we'll work that way up to the pouch and then backpack for the designs if they're successful enough in that arena that they're in.
So you said the 12 pack is the most successful out of all the sizes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's just the more people are in the mid-20s, they're just like, yeah, we can still throw down, but maybe just a little slower, a little more cautious with it. So
For sure.
A little more.
Yeah, and before we get too far away from the machine washable aspect, I think that's that's a key factor on these, in the sense of like, how many times do you go out somewhere and you have a cooler and you leave it in the car and you forget about it, and it might sit there for a couple of days, get a little funky. Being able to take that thing and cold wash it in the machine is got to be a 10 out of 10.
I was going to say it. You guys kind of eliminate that big problem, at least for me, when I have a cooler. Forget about it. There's still ice laying in there. It gets all gross. You guys just have the nice insulated slip, and you can, if it does happen to get dirty, you can just wash it right out. That's a great feature for sure. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Eliminating the biggest problem for me anyway with the cooler is cleaning it out after.
Yeah.
100%.
Taking care of it after we've drank 6 to 12 beers.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you're done drinking, you don't want to be cleaning out your cooler.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing I wanted to hit on is the fact that Kanga was on Shark Tank. I think that's awesome. And you guys have the link to it on your website where you can watch the segment. And Mark Cuban actually did pull trigger and invest. I believe it was for 20% equity at $100,000, which is super, super cool. And I was just wondering, what has that been like working with him and having him as an investor?
Yeah. So yeah, it's the biggest thing that we say or we take away is like the exposure. That his team is around. Like, I've personally never met him, but the best thing to come off of the show was the exposure, because that's, we got in front of millions of eyes there, and that was kind of the first launching point for the company, was just showing, hey, and then we start reruns of everything, but it's like, hey, we're here to play, and somebody like Mark Cuban is interested in it, then that's obviously doing something right. So
speaks volumes.
I was going to say, yeah.
Absolutely. So definitely, and then to increase your support and stuff like that. So the biggest takeaway from the show, at least as far as the success from it and the numbers coming back, is just the exposure. Constantly getting 6 figures worth of eyes on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. How'd you guys go about getting on the show? I'd like to hear maybe a little story about that. Could feel like
actually,
on Shark Tank. Yeah.
So the episode aired actually right before I started my internship. And so that was obviously one of the first questions that I had coming into it. And so they had this pitch smackdown at Clemson, which is essentially like a little mini Shark Tank. And So that kind of got the mode started as far as just like getting the product out there, showing, got the money for the patent, and then the Kickstarter helped support that and fund that. And then I believe it was somebody, I can't remember the name, but they're just like, hey, you guys should try out to go on Shark Tank. And it was never really a thought that they had, but they're just like, wait a minute, let's just see what we can do, just
Gotta try. Right.
Yeah, exactly. For shits and giggles there. And so they ended up submitting a video, and then it took like months to hear back, and they're like, okay, well, it's it's a dead cause there at that point. And then eventually they got the call back saying, hey, we want you to come to the first round auditions in LA or Atlanta at that point. And so they went down there, and then they actually thought that there was no way that they could go, obviously, and ended up getting another call back. And then they went out to LA to film, and then there's yet another hurdle of like the question of, is it going to film? And so they were concerned that, hey, maybe this ain't going to make the cut, but they flew out to LA and they filmed it, and it took months. This was like a 18-month process. So it was pretty tedious and pretty long from what I remember hearing, but a couple more months went by, and they're just like, whatever, next thing, there's going to be something else pop up. And all of a sudden they got the email saying that they're going to be aired on, it was in April, I believe, of 2018 or 19. So,
wow.
So yeah, it was
worth the long haul, though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like you're saying, getting 6-figure eyes on it, and just being able to get that, like, just on everyone's television, and being able to even like DVR and stuff and on demand, people going back and watching it, and people are still going to be discovering that for the first time for years to come, because it's such a relevant show.
People watch Shark Tank like crazy.
100%.
Yeah. I feel like it's a perfect product for the show. It's so versatile. I feel like obviously everybody uses coolers, you know what I mean? And it's such an innovation on the standard regular cooler that it's a perfect product for the show like that. Yeah.
And for anyone who didn't watch the episode, I think one of the coolest parts of the episode was when when the Sharks asked, like, how much did the 3 founders invest of their own money into the company? And then they said, we each invested $833. Like, that is ROI. That's the best return on investment you could have ever gotten. Right. And that just goes to show too that, like, you don't need tens of thousands of dollars to start something. You just need a really, really good idea and some drive and motivation to make it happen. And that's exactly what they did. So super cool.
Yeah, definitely. So just going back a little bit, you said this is obviously a school project, started at Clemson. Did you go to Clemson too? Is that how you got involved with the company?
So I actually went to App State. I graduated in 21. So I guess I'm getting a little bit of age on me now, I guess I could say. But my brother and the founder were actually friends. And so he came over to our house for the 4th of July one year. And it was my freshman year of college. So obviously, I was just kind of getting into the college lifestyle and figuring out everything there. And that's when I got introduced to the product. And I was just like, this is actually really cool. I could really use one of these. And so I came back that October, bought one. And then some time had went by, and I'd used it, and of course I loved it. And I was like, this is something I want to be a part of. And then so I ended up reaching out to the CEO again on Instagram saying, hey, look, you guys need an intern. I know you guys are growing. I know that I could be a value of the company. And so he said, absolutely, we do. And so I was in May, like the first week after I'd come home, end of my freshman year or sophomore year, I came back and joined the team from there, and it's just been history ever since. So.
That's awesome to come from like a consumer to being like working on the product. It just goes to show that you truly believed in the product and that you really liked what you had in front of you and in your hands. So super, super cool.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool story too that like it started as a class project or whatever, because it was probably like a business class where the professor wanted the students to get the juices flowing about starting their own business, and it actually came to fruition and ended up being this company that is
like business plan building.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really cool to see for sure.
So another thing too is like we've said, there's the 3 different coolers that you guys offer, but you guys have expanded into drinkware as well. And my favorite product other than the casemate has to honestly be just the classic neoprene Kanga koozies, because they just look so clean, and I like the matching aspect to the casemates and everything. So you can kind of bring the casemate in the Ozark pattern and then have the Ozark pattern on your koozie, like that whole type of shtick. It's awesome. Super, super cool.
Definitely.
And you also have the beer blocks too. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about those, because that's a pretty sweet, innovative product as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the beer block is our can-shaped ice pack. I thought I had one on my desk, but I don't. But it's the can-shaped ice pack that you stick in the freezer and then get it froze up, and it has like a slow release gel in it. It's really cool. The thought that went into the design. And then you slip it in the case, man. It adds an additional like 2 to 3 hours. of cold.
Oh, so it's okay. That's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
and then
works as like it doubles as an ice pack and as a koozie. Okay, gotcha.
no, the beer block isn't the koozie actually. It's just the ice pack, and then you can carry the koozie with you, whether it's the performance risky or the neoprene.
Okay.
But the beer block is actually our most viral. It's received like over 10 million views on TikTok. People love the idea of the can-shaped ice pack. And yeah, you slide it right in the cooler, and then on a really hot day, it'll get you that full 7 hours. But and then on the mild, not as hot days, it'll add an additional 2 to 3 to keep your drinks cold and just keep on rocking. So that's one of my favorite products as far as just like the design and thought that went into it. And I just love the story behind the beer block.
Yeah, for sure. And hearing that it like viral on TikTok, I feel like that's kind of like the thing with like new businesses and these products and such is like utilizing the social media marketing and TikTok and Reels and YouTube and all of that. And like we said earlier, you guys do a phenomenal job with that. Like anyone who has been exposed to Kanga has seen your guys' Instagram. It's just you just want to scroll and keep watching. It's great.
Yeah, because like when we see those videos, like you guys in the office doing those meetings or whatever, like it doesn't seem like an ad. It's more just like content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You guys are creating organic content. How is that? Like, how have you guys seen that really propel your business? Because I can only imagine how much it's helped you guys.
Yeah, no, TikTok and Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels have been something just like incredible. That's something that we will always recommend to other small companies. It's, it's free real estate at that point. So just take it and run with it. If you find something that catches and goes, then dude, you're golden. I think Robbie's done a great job with taking over the social media and running it. I think that he's garnered over 100 million views already or something like that over all platforms, which is, it's just, and it's all for free, organic. People hearing about the company is just definitely something that I would always recommend any other startup or small company. Just utilize TikTok, utilize Instagram Reels, because it could be something small and incredibly random, but it just catches a little fire and it can go. So
exactly
100%. And I feel like you guys have products that are just straight up conversation starters as well. And I feel like a conversation starter doubles as a very likely thing to go viral on social media and such, because it's like you're looking for something that you want to send your buddies, and I feel like there's nothing Kanga posts that you don't want to send your buddies. So it's like that's the definition of what's going to chart well and like what's going to hit that algorithm and do great. So
yeah, especially that's like where all the attention is right now. Everybody's consuming content on Reels or like that short form content. So staying in front of people's faces and everything like that. That's awesome to hear that you guys are just hammering that. Yeah, for sure.
We appreciate that. Yeah, it's good that it's working. It's
100%
fun to be a part of. Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
So another thing too, you mentioned earlier that like the golf has kind of been your niche and like where you've been trying to like hit on some new things. What are some like other ideas you may have for like incorporating Kanga into like the golf community? Because like we've said, I really think is going to be huge. And I think something that we're going to just start seeing more and more in everyone's carts and pulling out onto the course and such, because it's ideal. You don't want to lug around a cooler and you don't want to have some giant that you want your case of beer in the back of your cart. That's it.
I was gonna say it looks like it'd be something perfect that fits right in that basket in the back of the cart. It just looks like it's kind of made for golf. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was kind of accidental how that was figured out. It was, or not accidental, it was bound to happen. But we were just looking at the golf carts, or specifically me, and just kind of playing golf, because a good bit of us here do, and just it's really satisfying just setting it right down in there. It's just like, oh, that works, because then you still got enough room for like a little speaker or something, or you can put the speaker on the side pocket for the pouch in the book bag, and that's just one of the things where it was accidental, but it worked out to be so damn perfect as far as the coolers fit in the game. And then because you're not going to need 7 hours to play 18 holes either, at least you shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't. No,
if you are, then I would.
There's another problem there that needs to be addressed for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe you drank them too fast at that point.
Yeah.
But
maybe you bought the dirty 30 and you got a little bit too deep too early. So,
but so it's one of those things that turned out really well. And it's, as far as expanding out and trying other fits, it's the Rooskies. We could always get those in the game more, and because they're going to kill me because I don't have any products on my desk, but all of our koozies have the finger loop on it. So you slide around your finger, and then it makes it almost impossible to spill or drop, rather. So we keep the drinks protected as well in that. And so I think that's always something that is important for any sort of people in the game, is just not spilling the drinks and then having that different product there, and just building the product atmosphere for the game and other niches as well.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah.
And you guys, you offer 2 different golf polos too, and the one named the Happy Beer More. I was like, they're just too clever, man. They don't miss. They keep going.
Exactly. Going back to marketing.
The other one too being the Islander, like just 2 really fresh, clean designs. And I think also when you see like 2 polos on a website, you know that those are 2 fire polos. You know what I mean? Like they're not putting out 12 different designs. One of them sells and the other one doesn't. You got 2 fire options and people are wearing them. So it's super.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I love on the koozie, like you said, it has the holder for your hand. I feel like whether you're jumping out of the golf cart or anything like that, it's super easy to just kind of fumble your beer. So having that extra little protection is always necessary. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Would you ever see maybe like the possibility of taking some of those? Like I just had this thought come right now, so I don't know if it is a possibility in the future, but what if there was ever like from the designs like the Ozark, the Gibson, all those colorways that you have, maybe even like some head covers for some clubs that match your cooler. You know what I mean? They're pretty sweet.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I definitely need to mention that to the boys, see what they think on it. That's
because I love that Ozark colorway, like with the it's just that's my green. Like, I love that color.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Transferring over to anything like head covers or any other golf accessory like that. If
golfers love gear.
I was going to say anything else that a golfer can add to kind of customize his bag a little bit. I think they'd be all over. Yeah.
It's a great idea. I'm going to definitely bring that one up. That one's, I would buy it, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a limited release, try it out, see what happens, and then more people start asking. But
exactly.
So while we're still on the topic of golf as well, the classic that you guys run, you guys have a tournament.
Yeah.
So that I had brought that up to him, and I was saying August, we got some time. We're probably gonna have to finagle our way down there and maybe swing the sticks.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's at I believe it's at Smithfield's. It's something that I haven't, I guess, dabbled with much. So forgive me if I don't know too much of the information. I do know that it is in August though, and that it's going to be fun. We're going to try to do something different that you haven't seen in a lot of other tournaments, and then kind of just make it Kanga. We're all about fun and convenience, and we don't want to take anything too seriously. And we want to be able to show that in the tournament as well. And then the proceeds are going to, I should know this one, but I know it's veteran based. So it's
awesome. Love that.
Support the veterans in that aspect, and I could get the name here soon. But
that's awesome.
But so yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. We're all gonna get down there and help, and hopefully hit some dingers and hit them straight.
100%.
I feel like having an in-person event like that is so kind of important for a brand. Getting people out, bringing people in person, getting kind of meet your customer base, and just to kind of have some fun, like you said, not take it too seriously. Swing the sticks and have some beers. Yeah,
it's kind of like, think of like your local restaurant when you go there and the guy working and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, "Oh, you getting the same thing?" Like just being able to go out and like meet the owners of a company and kind of like feel like you're closer and more of a part of it. It like just makes everyone want to spend their money and get more stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Have you guys done golf tournaments before? I know you said it's kind of new to you, or did you guys do one previous years?
Yeah, no. So this is actually our first annual golf tournament. I do know that it's something that we want to keep going, just because we've made enough of the mark to where we could really do some good stuff in the philanthropy field, and so we definitely think that we've been blessed as to what we've been given and the opportunities that we've had and the chances that we've seized, and we definitely want to be able to give back as a company and show support to the community, because that's really what it's all about. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love that. Love hearing that for sure. Yeah.
Especially here in the veteran base where the proceeds are going and everything. I mean, that like everyone knows somebody who served and hits close to home for everyone. So super cool to see you guys being able to utilize your ability to kind of help somebody else out too. So
put that at the forefront, it seems like, which is awesome. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Definitely.
So another question for you would be, would you ever possibly see like pro, like NFL, NHL, MLB teams, like having licensing with you guys to do some coolers and stuff? Because I feel like a Yankees one would be pretty
sweet. Yeah. Well, definitely.
Yep.
Not the Yankees one. I can guarantee that one. I'm just messing with you. But the licensing game is just one thing that I've learned, because I was one that kind of led the charge on it. It's just tedious. And so we actually, we looked into a little bit with MLB specifically, and just how the royalties work, and then the sign-on and the contracts and everything. And it's just all tedious to look through. And I would love to get obviously more representation for more brands and more teams out there. So it's definitely something that we're constantly trying. And it's one thing I've learned is if you know the person who owns the license or the people behind who are running the license, knowing them, and helps out a lot with obviously getting the license and bringing it in. So if you guys know anybody with a Yankees or MLB specifically or NFL, then we would love to talk to them to get some professional.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm interested to see, like, how does that work with the colleges? I know you guys do a lot of college, college branded coolers and whatnot. Is the licensing kind of the same deal? Pretty tedious to get that on there, or is it
Yeah, so colleges are more individual, so it's still tedious, but they're definitely a lot easier because you don't have to tackle, you get all the AC or SEC schools, even the ones that may not sell well.
Right.
But you could attack different schools, and I think our Matt and Billy, we call them our Road Warriors, they've done a great job at tackling that game and getting more licensed coolers out there and more teams to sign on. But it's definitely, I'll say fun,
yeah,
the process to, I guess, minimize what all bad I could say about it, just because it is tedious, but it's definitely far worth it. And I love supporting teams, and I love getting the licenses out there. And it's always fun when somebody comments saying, "Oh, you should do this cooler," and then we save the comment, and then we come back and just like, "Well, now it's here."
We got it. Yeah.
No, I mean that's like one of the things too with being like you were saying, like a newer company in the game with all that and stuff, being able to really like listen to your customers and take that feedback and bring stuff to market. That's just building really good relationships with the customers and those guys who like say, "Wait a second, did I comment that they should do that?" And then they double back and they buy it, and now they're telling everybody and anybody who will listen, "I told them they should do this. They did it, and you got to go buy one now." So
100%.
Right.
it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I know you said it's tricky, but the NFL licensing and everything like that. But I would love to see all these at we're from Buffalo, obviously, so I'd love to see all these at the Bills tailgates and whatnot. I could see these being everywhere. Exactly.
Those Mafia would be insane to get that
100%.
hit. I think that would be a crazy market to tackle.
Hey, there's some good content for you guys too for your social media.
Absolutely.
You come up here and start showing some people in Buffalo at the
Jumping through
tailgates.
tables
Oh
and
man, come on.
For sure,
You get
yeah, I
some
would,
good wings and some good footage.
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
love to watch somebody jump through a table. I can't say I nose goes it, but I'd love to see some of that energy. I love the Bills Mafia. I love the TikTok and everything that they're doing. I think that they run a great social media too. And I'm almost a bandwagon Bills fan myself.
Yeah. Hey, there's always room on the wagon.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I love Josh Allen and Panthers. Hopefully they could do some good moves to get my fanmanship back, but we'll just see how that goes. But yeah, I love the Bills and what they're doing.
The one thing I can tell you about like Bills Mafia and those tailgates is the videos are not embellished. It is exactly what you see. I remember going to my first Bills game when I was in like 5th grade, and I was like young, and I was like, "Oh, this is a lot." There's like sitting up in the 300s. It's a party. You know what I mean? Everyone's like screaming, getting hammered, having a good time. And I mean, once you're warmed up to it, it's definitely a great experience.
Yeah, these would definitely kill it. Bills tailgate or any tailgate. Going back to the fact it's like, you don't need it cold for a week. You know what I mean? We're just looking for 7 hours, whatever it is. You know what I mean? We'll be done by then. Yeah, exactly.
Time to get hammered and then go into the game and
for sure
pull on whoever you're pulling for. Yeah.
1,000%.
Hey, and if you threw a couple beer blocks in there and you had some left over, when you get out of the game, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, exactly. Just the little post-game beers for sure.
For sure.
It's awesome. And then one other thing I wanted to hit on that was in the apparel section was the kangaroo onesie.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So I feel like there has to be some way that gets incorporated into this golf tournament, whether it's like whoever has like the most 3 putts or something has to play a hole wearing that in front of everybody or something. Something like that. Because I saw that and I was like, oh man, we might need one of those for something. I don't know what yet, but we might need one.
We could use it for something. Yeah.
It started as a joke, I know, at Halloween, and we're just like, why don't we just buy a bunch of these and put our logo on them? And it was actually a huge hit, in which I'm just like, are you kidding me? And it's just because it's one of those. It's just like, why do we have it? And then you see like, oh well, around Halloween it's really popular, and it really made me put my foot in my mouth because I was just not a supporter of them at first. I was just like, these are the stupidest thing that we could have ever put money into. Then come Halloween, people just eat them up, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just.
It's so crazy sometimes.
Right.
I feel like we can relate to that with like when we post videos on social media. Sometimes I'm sure you have this too, where you're like, this is the hit. This is the one that's going to do well. Doesn't chart. And then you post something else and you're like, this is just a random one we're going to throw up. And it's like, this one did great. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny sometimes how people retain stuff compared to how you perceive them to do it. And it's like, just kind of goes to show the market's always evolving and always changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. better to let the market decide. Might surprise
100%.
you. Yeah.
Has there been any other products where you were like, I don't know if this was it, or maybe a colorway or something, and then it just kind of caught you by surprise?
The woody, the green and kind of like the wood grain two-tone.
I like that colorway as well. It's kind of similar to the Ozark.
When that one was first released, I was like, yeah, we're just going to get ready to cut this one. I was not a woody believer. I was just like, because that's not really my vibe either. The captain all day, I'm going to support. Love it. But the woody really, because that was another one where I just put my foot in my mouth there, just because that's like, it is the best seller. I'm pretty sure it's like either that or the Gibson. But that's
the Gibson's clean. The Gibson's clean.
Yeah.
The Malibu too. I feel like the Malibu and the Gibson, it's kind of like that navy instead of the black too, which is sweet.
Yeah. Malibu is really good for like the waterway fronts. Whether it's like a river, beach, or lake or whatever. That's where the Malibu I've seen do the best success. And then the Gibson is also it's very like clean. Like you said, it's very masculine. It's like kind of a biker type deal. That's what I picture it as, and stuff like that. So those three are definitely the top three there. But the Woody surprised me. I was shocked by how well that one did, and obviously pleasantly shocked. But
I was gonna say it's always a pleasant surprise. It's like I know it can be tough to be like, oh, maybe I was wrong, but when it works out, it's like, fuck it, man, it worked. So
100%. We'll throw up pictures of all these too on the post editor or not, so everybody can see them. Because they're super cool. They're super cool. If you haven't checked them out, you got to go to the website, check them out. Yeah,
sure. And the thing too, we've been talking a lot about golf and the utilization there, and I feel like it's important people know too, like it's not just golf and tailgates. Like we grew up doing a lot of fishing, hunting. I feel like it ties right into that as well. Like you're going out fishing for 5-6 hours. Do you really want to carry this 150-pound cooler filled with ice and all this stuff so you can drink 4 or 5 beers? Like just grab a 12-pack, grab your casemate, and get on your way. Like it's perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say anything that you need a cooler for, this makes it a little bit easier. You know what I mean? There's so many different applications. It just makes it a lot more efficient, I would say. Lugging around all that ice in a huge 150-pound cooler, it's like, is that 4 beers even worth it at this point?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's the other thing I was going to say. You're going to be working up such a thirst carrying that cooler. You might run out of beer, and then you just got a cooler full of ice.
I was going to say, yeah, exactly.
So before we get out of here, I was going to ask, is there any plans you may have for the 2023 season for Kanga? Anything that maybe you could shed some light on for us, or some sneak preview type things? Or if not, understand. But
let's see. I don't know. I didn't really ask anything. I definitely know that we do have some surprises coming out in the accessories, so I can't speak too much of that. But it's going to be a pleasant surprise. I think one of the more popular products coming out, we have coming out later in the fall, is going to be something where we're just like, wow, this has turned out well. And so hopefully I don't have to put my foot in my mouth, especially with that one again. But yeah, the accessory coming out, and then we're always going to have new designs coming out like quarterly or biannually. So just keep your eyes out for those, and going to keep on grinding. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to come on. I mean, hopefully we can reconvene and maybe meet up at that August golf event and maybe do a quick little pod before we tee it up.
I was gonna say that'd be awesome. Kind of get in person, set something up there. That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to see if we can get y'all some tickets or something.
Yeah,
100%,
absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Would love to come down and swing the sticks and everything. Definitely. But yeah, like Joe said, really appreciate your time, taking the time out of the day, chop it up with us, kind of learn a little bit more about Kanga Coolers and everything like that. We like to put a face to the name of the brand and just kind of dive in a little bit and let everybody know a little more about brands we like, brands we enjoy. So yeah, really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It's been a great time. Hopefully, gave you what you wanted, and we can rock and roll from there.
100%.
Definitely.
Appreciate it, Breck.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all.
All righty.